Okay, Mr. and Mrs. Management. Now that we self-assessed, what does that ideal communication are we working towards? What is that open communication that we're trying to have in the workplace? All right, three things. The first thing is how you communicate to your team members. How you communicate to your team members, it it determines how they receive what you are conveying to them, and how they receive what you are conveying to them has everything to do with how they respond to what you are conveying to them, right? So if it's lack of respect, belittling them, talking at them, then you can't really expect them to respond and also get them to put in their best effort, put forth their best work. So that affects their execution. All right. The second thing is you have to know their language. You have to be able to speak to them, because how you speak to him, you may necessarily can't speak to her that way. How you speak to him or her and her, these are two different individuals, so you have to learn and know their language, because you don't want to be talking at them, because it's what you're saying, and that matters. What you say goes. Well, if you're talking out the side of your neck, if you're speaking in tongues, so to speak, I don't understand that language. So how do you expect to get the best out of me? Which that's where the disc assessment comes in at, where you know, based on the personality type of your team members, each and every team member, you'll know, okay, you can't come at this one aggressive. Like, although you may be a high I, you operate in your D, you're straightforward, you're all about getting the job done. Well, you may not be considering their emotions, especially when you dealing with a high I like myself. Like, you may be coming off super rude, and you that's not your intent. It's just you're straightforward. Well, speaking to a high I like that, like myself, if a person is unaware of your personality type and the way you are coming off, you don't mean any harm. Like, you just like give me results. They can understand a little bit more that, you know what, that's just how he is, that's how she is. She don't mean any harm. She just wants the job done. You know what I mean? Like, it's knowing the personality types of your team members, which is very, very important. All right, you want the best out of your team members, you have to speak their language. You know what I mean? Like, you might explain something to him or her, boom, and they get it. But little lady over here or little dude over here, he might need you to elaborate a little bit more. Like, he might need you to dive in and be hands on with him or her. But you have to know your team members based on their personality type, based on their ability. Like, you have to know who your team members are. All right. They might not even be qualified for that position. Like, you might was just looking to fill the position. Like, you look at it, man, as long as you have the manpower, we can make this thing work. Well, this particular position, they're not really effective in it. Then they don't really care to do it, so you can't expect them to be all super excited, energetic, and execute in that position at a high level. But over here on this in this position, like, this is something that excites them. This is something that they enjoy doing. This is something that, like, they have a love or a passion for. So when you move them from over here and put them over here, now they might execute at a high level. You like, man, this is a totally different person. No, you based on who they are and what their passions are and what fulfills them, like you just move them where they in the position that they love and enjoy doing. Now you can get the most out of them because now they're willing to put forth their potential on a normal level for them, but you may look at it as a high level, and that's how they performing because you place them in their arena, right? And then the third thing, open communication. Open communication, have to have open communication, have to be willing to be transparent. You know what I mean? You have to be willing to listen because that's a form of communication too. How can you serve your team members if you don't know what their needs are? Those three things. Let's work on those three things and make sure that that's priority on the top of the list in serving your team members. You want the best out of your team members, you have to be willing to expand across the board the effective communication. And we can just start with those three. All right, let's get to work. We got work to do. Let's go.